Hello everyone and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, my weekly clips react show here on DSP Reacts. This is episode 51 and part 4 of said show for February 11th, 2024. Interesting variety so far. We're now into the standard submissions from people who have submissions tier membership. This means that everyone has an equal chance to get watched and they're just thrown into a random order playlist. So let's continue and see what's next. Here we go. Part 1 of a new and improved version of my first big YouTube video, the Fall of the Madden NFL series. How old is this? 3 years old, so probably about 4 years. Completed after hundreds of hours of research, recording, and editing. Really?
To the average person, Madden NFL 21 may seem to be nothing more than an average sports title.
And so this came out in 2020, because they always come out the year before.
As the years go on, many of those who played older Madden titles move on from video games altogether as their lives get busier. As younger generations replace them, a trend starts to occur. I've noticed that older Madden titles, specifically the ones from the 6th generation of consoles, are becoming more and more forgotten each year. You have some of the largest and most influential Madden personalities, such as MMG, creating videos titled "Playing Every Madden in One Video," despite the fact that he starts with a Madden game from 2013. Madden 21 is an improvement over Madden 20 and Madden 19 and 18 and so forth. So on the surface, Madden's true decline has almost been covered up. While there are some smaller YouTubers such as myself and others who try to spread the word, our communities are a vocal minority. Why do you think the largest YouTubers who make videos on sports games almost always exclusively stick to newer titles? The money is in the Ultimate Team pack openings,
That's right.
the flashy new games, and online competition.
100%
My
right.
point here is that if you actually compare Madden 05 on the PS2, for example, to Madden 21 on the PlayStation 5, the older game actually bodies the newer one. There were other football games, such as ESPN NFL 2K5, that were not only better than Madden in Madden's prime, but are still better and more feature-filled than any modern Madden game. And while the hardcore sim heads and those of us born in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s or earlier are mostly aware of this, each and every year we become more and more of a vocal minority. There's also the fact that Madden is a sports game. Most hardcore gamers don't care about sports games, nor do they even consider them to be true video games. To the uninformed or to the young, Madden 21 might just be their favorite Madden ever, because it's better than the last few. What people don't understand is just how low of a bar that was to hurdle.
It's again, this is incredibly similar to Call of Duty, where the franchise comes out every year with the new game. All the content creators only talk about the new game because that's how they make their money, despite the fact that the game probably is the same or sometimes not as good as the one that you got last year. They're not going to say that. They're just going to do Ultimate Team pack openings or whatever, right? Same thing with Call of Duty. They're just going to buy the skins, play the events, do all these things to make their money, and no one actually does some kind of a true observation of where that series has gone over time. He says, well, people don't remember that there used to be competitors to Madden that were better. Yeah, people don't remember that there used to be Battlefield games that were better than Call of Duty. Remember Battlefield 4? That was way better than Call of Duty that year. You know, there were years that genuinely there were competitors that would smash Call of Duty, but now all you think about for first-person shooters is Call of Duty. That's it. It's the same exact situation, just a completely different game genre.
How much of a slap in the face the last decade of Madden titles have been to the hardcore crowd. What if I told you that 2K's old football games were so good that EA became a snake and signed an exclusive deal with the NFL, effectively killing off 2K's NFL games,
that's what happened,
rather than simply competing with them, as you would expect in a free market? What if I told you that EA still hasn't come close in 2021 to matching the gameplay depth or presentation of these 2K football titles from 2004? What if I told you that EA's own Madden games from the early to mid 2000s had an insanely large number of features and game modes that are absent from Madden 21? In this video, I'm going to cover 89 significant features.
89? I don't think we're watching the whole video.
And are now gone. Yeah, you heard that right. Despite more powerful consoles than ever before, EA not only fails to match their PS2 era competition from 2004 today, but they also can't even match their own games from that era either. Expecting the exclusive simulation NFL game to be better than decade-and-a-half old titles is not asking for too much. It's asking for the bare minimum.
But I mean, this is the sad fact of gaming, and this is what happens with all things in life that generate money. They start off as a good idea, and they're genuine, and they're quality. And then what happens is people get their hooks into them, and they realize we can milk this for more money, and here's how. And then it gets worse, right? McDonald's started off as a great fast food chain of quick burgers, high quality, and now McDonald's is known as one of the lowest quality fast food chains you can eat at. It's all greasy shit that's terrible for you, but it's supposed to be cheap, right? Over time, quality changes, prices change, you know, but they make $1 million, bajillion dollars every day, and that's what happens. Movies. At one point, movies were supposed to be artistic works that had meaning behind them. And now you can pump out a fucking movie with CGI and shit, and it doesn't mean shit, and it's just a turd. You know what I mean? It's all the same. With video games, they actually used to care. They actually used to make games that were supposed to be standouts, quality, game modes, replayability, story that meant something, gameplay elements that were unique and different and evolving. Now it's like, pump out the same game every year, shuffle the features around a little bit, just be sure that the microtransactions are in there, and we're good. This is what happens with every single thing in life. As I get older, I see it all around me happen. You know, it's pretty sad, but it's just true. Whenever these people get their hooks into shit, these fucking money grubbers, they ruin this shit. Madden at one point was probably quite good, and now all they care about is their Ultimate Team shilling every year. Spend money on Ultimate Team, right? There you go. Oh yeah, Lady Christmas says the sad thing is NFL was actually mad that 2K was selling 2K5 for only $20 at the time, so they went with EA and they made more money that way. Wow, it's a shit. So here's the thing: I kind of know. I don't need to hear the specifics of what Soft Drink TV is going to say is missing from Madden. I'll just believe him. Like I probably wouldn't even understand half the features, but I would believe him that modern Madden today has less features than the previous games. But just be sure that it has Ultimate Team so they can make their insane amount of money every year from people who were just gullible. Yeah, it's sad, man. That's why you don't buy into that shit. I didn't buy Madden. I got it on Game Pass. I'm not buying that fucking game, right? No way would I spend $1 on that. Okay.
The daddy of Dark Souls. And no, I'm not talking about Miyazaki, even though, obviously, yes, him too. Instead, I'm talking about From Software's Kingsfield series, specifically the last one to ever release. Kingsfield: The Ancient City from 2001 on the PS2, a first-person dungeon crawler.
Oh, it was first-person? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Called the spiritual...
Kingsfield was first-person. Because we saw footage of the old-ass Kingsfield on PC, and it looked terrible, right? But, I mean, that was the big predecessor, granddaddy, like people say.
Successor of Kingsfield, and nowhere is that more apparent than in this final game. So this video will not only look at those connections, but it will also explore Kingsfield: The Ancient City in its own right. This is a very weird game that most people have not even heard of, but it deserves to be talked about and looked at, especially if you're a fan of modern FromSoft. However, the final Kingsfield came out 20 years ago. If only I had some way of going back in time. Yeah.
Oh, the name of the channel is Iron Pineapple. I see. I guess we can fast forward through here.
And as a result, the once prosperous kingdom of Helidon has fallen into a state of decay and disease and corruption. Generally bad stuff. So a swordmaster leads an expedition to return the idol of sorrow, but it fails and the idol is presumed lost forever as the kingdom continues to decay. But then...
Okay, I don't need the intro. I want to hear about the game, like how it works.
People, so get used to it. Alright, with our first death out of the way, let's start talking about the game. So while a lot of the experience takes place underground in dungeons and caves, I think this brief introduction area on the surface is a smart one. It's one thing to tell us that the world is suffering through a cutscene, but it's another for us as the player to feel it. Things are not looking good. This little girl's mom is sick and dying in bed. This man's wife has gone missing, and then he himself ends up dying while you search.
Wow.
This well of healing has dried up. Monsters have seemingly overrun the area, and everything is in a state of ruin. All of this together creates a familiar feeling to the Souls games. The atmosphere is heavy. The key word that comes to mind is bleak. This is a bleak world, and you feel that before you ever step foot into the catacombs. The people are struggling. You could even call some of them crestfallen. Yep, I bet you didn't think it went back that far, but it sure does. This is how you know it's a FromSoft game. Also worth pointing out is the lava in the surrounding areas. This stuck in my mind as an interesting choice because I couldn't think of other games that began like that. Fire or lava areas are almost always near the middle or end of games, so this subversion almost seems to communicate that we should prepare for a weird one. So as I took all this in, my first 30 minutes or so was spent running around with a club I found and some scraps of armor. Eventually I made my way into the mines nearby. It wouldn't be Kingsfield without some good old-fashioned slime combat. In the mines, I found a rock that allowed me to cure the sick mother from before, and as a reward, I got my first magic spell, Fireball. This is the only time the game forces you to find and learn a spell to progress, since you need it to burn a spider web in your path. For the rest of the game, it's on you to find those secret areas and hidden rooms if you want more magic and weapons. Speaking of missable items, there's actually a huge one right next to the house with the mother and daughter. Right here you find the Clarity Bracelet, and for the rest of the game, you should never take it off because it's just too good. It quintuples the amount of MP you have for casting magic. However, I never felt like I had loads of magic to spare. No, it actually felt like this was what the base amount of MP should have been. Magic is borderline unusable without this item because of how little MP you'll have. I think when I first got it, I could only cast Fireball once, maybe twice before needing to restore it. So yeah, kind of a wild choice on FromSoft's part to make such an essential item like this hidden and missable right at the very start.
So basically what it is, it's kind of like Elder Scrolls, right? But it's Elder Scrolls with giant difficulty curve, because if you don't find these essential things, you can't make progress. If you never found the life stone, you can't even make progress in the game. If you don't find this bracelet, you'll never have enough MP to actually survive, and the game will be insanely difficult. So, okay, it's interesting. That's kind of interesting.
But part of me loves it. It's moments like these where it really does feel like the developers have a fuck you attitude.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Is our game. Yes, it's unfair. Deal with it or move on. And with that, say goodbye to the surface. We are going underground and into the ancient city. More than anything, this is a descent, and we eventually get pretty deep. As a rule of thumb, if you're going down, you're probably going the right way. However, it's time to talk about the combat and gameplay. I've put it off.
Leave me alone.
This is a first-person dungeon crawler. Now, I don't want to repeat myself too much from my other Kingsfield video, but essentially, this game is very similar to Kingsfield 1. And just like that game, there are two words that perfectly describe the combat: clunky and slow. This gets to the heart of what the Kingsfield experience is like, and is part of why I think most people might find this game unbearable at times. You move slow and you turn even slower. This is what it looks like to fully turn around. If the idea of doing this yourself is upsetting, this game is definitely not for you. Clearly, I was able to tolerate this, and it even grew on me over time, but I wouldn't blame anyone wanting to pass on the game for this alone.
It's like you're a slow-ass tank on a fucking treads, so you can't move fast. You gotta like, to turn anywhere you want to go. It's like you're a fucking Tin Man, right? Jeez.
Combat, most encounters will go one of two ways. The first is you attack, you back up, wait for your power meter to fill up again, attack, back up, back up, and I think you get the idea.
So
the second is you Tokyo drift around them, because as slow as you turn, they turn even slower, and you can abuse this to stay behind them while you swing away. Now, not every encounter is this bare bones. Rooms with multiple enemies will force you to change things up by being clever, and ranged magic can also break up the monotony of melee combat. Also, there's just overall better AI than the last game. Some enemies will even attempt to block and dodge your attacks. Ironically, you can't do either of those things, but hey, I guess they were saving that for the Souls games. So yeah, basically the same as Kingsfield 1, just a bit refined.
Oh, there's Kingsfield 1, especially this is actually the best version of Kingsfield.
You might be thinking, hey, combat seems kind of rough. Why do people like these games? And I totally get that sentiment, but for me at least, it comes down to the joy of exploration and discovery that this game offers.
Yeah, and also, again, people say the same thing about the FromSoft games. Why do people like this game that beats the crap out of you and is unfair? I like games that are more fair. Well, because people find this sense of discovery, this sense of accomplishment when they overcome the giant insurmountable odds, right? I get it. So this is kind of the proto-Souls game, and it makes sense because it was 20 years before now. Well, now it's probably 25 years ago, right? Yeah. Okay, that was excellent. I like that video, and now we've learned a little bit about Kingsfield. That was entertaining. Let's keep going.
Hello, I'm Bob Isis of Isis Toyota, and we have a great collection of pre-owned certified Toyotas. But there's one thing I want to make very clear, and it's that we have nothing to do with the terrorists over there in the Middle East. And that's why we are the good ISIS.
The good ISIS.
All right, listen. You gotta lean into the ISIS thing. It's a good marketing tool.
It's a great marketing tool. I agree with Barbie. I think you should be like, here at ISIS Toyota, we'll behead the competition.
What are you guys talking about? We're not wishing death to any of our enemies. We are wishing death to high prices.
Me and Barbie.
To low prices. Oh, high prices.
Yeah.
No, no.
That would be so cool. So I'm holding an AK-47, she's holding an AK-47. You're like, we got the best Toyotas, and I can be doing that like terrorist turkey gobble thing. You know what I mean?
What the fuck?
Enough. At ISIS Toyota, we have nothing to do with Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and his vicious gang of thugs.
Wow.
All we're trying to do is put you into an affordable, pre-owned, certified Toyota.
People don't respect you.
To the youngsters, I know you're having fun. I used to have fun myself. But there's something you need to know. Stuff like that?
Wow.
That's a load of crap. That's a load of crap.
Can I be in that?
That's a load of crap. This was 3 years ago. This isn't that bad. This is pretty funny. Hey man, that's a load of crap.
Commercial?
What are you doing?
No.
Come on, why not?
Why?
It's because I'm black?
No, it's not because it's because your name is
Orenthal James Anderson. And at ISIS,
OJ, oh no.
but if we find a competitor with a lower price, we'll kill them. Put it.
My name is OJ, and if we find a competitor for a lower price, we'll kill him. Ah, that's great.
not doing this.
You don't love OJ? What are you saying? He did it?
No.
Oh.
God damn it. All I'm trying to do
Wow.
is get you into a Toyota.
We made this.
Isn't this great?
Put this away.
We're in the commercial.
Look at it.
Wear this in the commercial.
Yeah, come on.
Why not? I wore it on the bus here, dude. You know how hard that was for me?
You wore this on the bus?
Yes, I had to bring it
That's
here.
dedication.
Do you know how hard that is to get off? It costs more than the damn car.
Like, you're blowing it here. Like, you're
think
really,
I'm blowing it.
yes.
Would you quit it? Quit it. I'm losing money on half these things. Because you and your punk-ass kids come down and fuck with our shit.
You want an AK-47?
Stop fucking with our Toyotas. Come down and buy them like a man.
Head of ISIS issues a threat.
I'm under a lot of fucking stress.
I'll go fucking nuts. We are closed on 9/11.
If your dad was real ISIS, you'd be up in heaven right now, covered in virgins.
Yeah.
But instead, you're a fat fucking virgin covered in used Toyotas.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Okay?
You
So,
motherfucker. I'd like to
what do you
fucking rip
Oh
the
my
fuck
God.
out of you. Come down
Wow.
to ISIS Toyota, or I'll fucking kill myself and everybody here.
Alrighty then.
All good people are appalled by the sufferings of the innocent. When an innocent person is struck by a painful disease, or tortured, or murdered, we naturally feel sadness and help.
Oh, God and suffering. Isn't Prageru, isn't this supposed to be an online, like, source of, I hate to say it, kind of like propaganda for Christianity? Is that true? I don't know. I've heard of Prageru before, but I don't know too much about it. And again, it seems like someone's trying to steer the show towards politics and religion, which this show is definitely not about. All right. Yeah, I know. It's like an indoctrination video. Let's just watch a tiny bit of it. I promise we won't go too far. I'm just curious what it is.
Helplessness and often rage. Many people have claimed that such suffering is a proof that God does not exist. Their argument goes like this: God is all good and all powerful. Such a God would not permit unnecessary suffering, yet we constantly observe unjust suffering. Therefore, at least one of the premises about God must be false. Either God is not all good, or he is not all powerful, or he just doesn't exist. What's wrong with this argument? First, let's examine what we mean when we say that God would not permit
Sure, I'll tell you right now what's the flawed part of the argument. The very first statement, that God is all good and all powerful and therefore wouldn't allow suffering. How do you fucking know that? How do you know that? Do you know God? Did you talk to him this morning? Did he come by for breakfast? Did you have some bacon and eggs with him? Or her? Or whatever, because maybe God isn't gendered, right? Like, how do you know that? This is a premise that's based on it's already, before you got to your challenge point, you made an assumption. So, there you go. It's already wrong. Any justification that humans try to make when it comes to some kind of like a supreme being is flawed because it's based on your notion of what God is or should be, which doesn't mean it's reality. So you've already failed. You've already created a straw man God that cannot be proven.
There are two categories of suffering. Suffering caused by human beings, which we call moral evils, and suffering caused by nature, for instance, earthquakes or cancer. Free will explains how God...
That's also false, because we actually don't even know. Perhaps cancer is actually caused by humans and other things that we've done to the human body. So I don't even have to watch the rest of this video. It's nonsense. This is just utter nonsense. This video. It's completely wrong. Everything so far is wrong in the video. If I go, I'm just going to keep debunking the further in we get. It's just, and I'm just going to be more upset that people watch this and believe this shit. Almost 1 million views on this video. It's all false, right? Anyway, let's just go. Hey, Johnny Depp lookalike.
È stato un applauso, grazie.
I don't know the Squid Game theme. So this guy just playing just various pop culture themes? Yeah, he is. The dancing T-Rex. Very nice. The classic Spider-Man. The schnazzy Spider-Man. Nah. That's the real Super Mario right there. That's what he looks like. Why do you think the Goombas crush when he stomps on them? The tremendous force of that man stepping on you. Anything would squish. There you go. Oh, this is one of the Dragon Ball themes. Yeah. One of the many Dragon Ball themes. Great Saiyaman outfit. What's very apparent is that no one at this convention knows how to dance. No one can dance at all. Not a single person has danced properly yet. Oh, I don't know what this one is. They don't look how awkward they are. They don't know how to dance. They're just like, this is how you move to music, right? Oh. This guy's like, what am I supposed to do? No one dances. Wow. A head bobber. No dancing, just head bobbing. Literally no one who he played for could move to the music. No one. Wow. All right, listen. If you're going to go to a cosplay convention, please learn some basic dance movements. Because this happens, you have to represent properly, and literally no one could do that. That's sad. The saxophone player was good, though. All right. That is it for part 4 of DSP versus the Internet. I hope you're enjoying. In part 5, we're going to do some Q&A and onward and beyond. More of the, standard submissions here in a random playlist. I'm enjoying the show so far. I hope you are too. I'll see you all in part 5.